गुणातीतोऽक्षरं ब्रह्म भगवान् पुरुषोत्तमः जनो जानन्निदं सत्यं मुच्यते भवबन्धनात्. With prostrations of the divine feet of Bhagavan Swami, my Guru Hari, Prabhu Swami Maharaj, and my Pragat Guru Hari, Param Puja Mahan Swami Maharaj, my heartiest Namaskar, Jai Swami Narayan, and a very good evening, especially to the organizers of this conference, Kirit Bhai, Haresh Bhai, and especially Hinesh Bhai, because of whom we are together today, this evening. Also, a friend, Padmakanji. So, quite a few known faces here, and one of our BAPS volunteers, Siddharth Parekh, is here, will be your future conference director during the centenary celebrations probably. So nice meeting all of you, and it's always nice to be in the midst of hardcore professionals like you. I come from the BAPS Swami Sanstha. We are one of the largest organizations, the largest NGO in the world, with a permanent status in the United Nations as an NGO. And we run more than 1,600 hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, community centers, sanskar centers, mandirs and akshardham. I think all of you might have been to Akshardham at Gandhinagar or Delhi.
Yes.
Just raise your hands. I come from that organization. So we are directly involved in the administration of these various institutes that organization has, directly into the management administration in the HR of all these institutes. So coming here and standing in front of you is not just a couple of books read, and I'm going to talk to you about a topic that has been shared with me today. Like you, we also put in about 8-10 hours of work, administrative work in our organization. What I'm doing now is my part-time hobby. Not a part-time job, but a part-time hobby. Because I don't charge anything for my talks. I've been talking since 25 years on national and international platforms. I don't charge a single penny because we saints, we don't possess bank accounts, we don't have money, we don't touch money. Nice to tell this to tax people. So then the topic shared with me today is attitude, the master key, and work-life balance. Let's start with a case study. Because you all have case study, isn't it? Yes. As students and even as professionals. For example, from nowhere, somebody opens the door and a mouse runs in. And it gets on the dash. And sits right beside the chairman's nameplate. And puts it on his hind limbs, it is up, and looks around. And runs there, puts its mouth inside the glass of water and starts sipping. And then again it runs down and comes near to the first row. Again it runs around. You see this happening right now. What could probably the first thoughts that could enter your mind? Just think over. What could be the first thoughts? I want at least 4-5 people to answer. Those who want to answer, just raise your hands.
Fear.
Just raise your hands if you want to answer. Yes?
Nuisance.
Nuisance, okay? Engagement?
Fear. Fear and
Fear will be something else will follow, okay?
Good beginning, Ganpati Bappa.
Ganpati Bappa, okay?
Irritation.
Irritation? Sorry? He was thirsty, so he came here, seeing water.
Don't care, leave it.
Sorry?
Don't care, leave it.
Don't care, leave it. So these are all the types of thoughts that could probably enter our mind and be expressed within these words. Same thing happened a few decades back. A person would always introduce himself as a creative person when it came to graphics and design. But then he was thrown out of 7 jobs in a span of 1.5 years. Just because people didn't find creativity. So he was once sitting totally broke in the garage of his bungalow or of his house in the United States. And it was the 29th or 30th of the month, so in 1 or 2 days he had to vacate that house. He just had $5 in his pocket. Where to go and what to eat after 2 days was a big question. In the midst of that, with a half cup of coffee and maybe a piece of bread, he was sitting there in the garage and with his legs on the table, a mouse came out from somewhere and ran up the table. And just on his hind legs looked around, saw this cup of coffee, put its mouth inside and started sipping it. Then saw a small piece of bread lying there, picked it up. And this person allowed the mouse to pick that half piece of bread with the understanding that now everything is gone, the last thing is in your destiny, you pick it up. And he ran away with that. But he was amused with this. He got something extraordinary as an idea in his mind. And he told himself, if this act of mouse could entertain me, can I show this act of this mouse to the children of the world and make big money from their parents? And from this thought was generated the most famous character of motion picture. I'm talking of Mickey Mouse, and the person who was sitting there totally broke was none other than Walt Disney himself. I start my talk attitude the master key with this. What happens is 10%. How you take it is 90%. What happens is just 10%. How you take it, your perspective of looking towards happenings around you is your attitude. Your thought process which goes behind what is happening around you is 90%. How you look at people around you, how you look towards your work and your responsibilities, how you look yourself to be looked upon in your social circles, it's all your attitudes. The same act here probably happening, and we had some thoughts from nuisance to Gyanvatsaldasji. I don't say you are not right. From nuisance to somebody said, well, it might be like it was Thursday, and somebody said fear. Somebody said Gyanvatsaldasji. You all are right. But Walt Disney got something new. To see an opportunity in everything happening around you is an attitude as a professional. Anything and everything happening around you, directly or indirectly, even something coming up to you as news, or something happened in your city today, something happened in your professional circles today, if you can carve out an opportunity from there, that here lies a work opportunity for me, here lies a business opportunity for me, here lies a health opportunity for me, here lies some selfless service opportunity for me in this happening. If you can carve out an opportunity from anything happening around you, that makes you a perfect, dynamic professional. This is the principal first attitude which becomes the master key of your success. See opportunity in everything happening around you. This guy saw an opportunity and he created the Disney World, a giant multinational corporation. Isn't it? You have Disney World in US, you have it in Japan, you have the Euro Disney. Now probably it is coming up on the Mumbai-Pune Expressway. You have it. So seeing an opportunity in anything happening around you is your attitude, and that is the master key for your success as a profession. People have seen that. People have admired that. People have used that to grow. Personal growth, professional growth, or society growth. All have their roots in people seeing opportunities in happenings around them. This is point number one. Second aspect of attitude being the master key for your growth is always keep a positive, optimistic, prosperity way of thinking. If there can be probably 5 reasons to pull you down, you must find out 6 reasons to shoot yourself up. That all lies in your personal thinking, in your personal attitudes. So if there is something to stress you or there is something to depress you, you must very carefully craft out, you must initiate a thought process within you, generate an energy within you that your thought process of positivity and optimism can actually overpower, can actually suppress those negativities in you. Because this is a 60 or 70 year game. You have 2 choices for anything happening in your life. Either sit back and cry that I did not get my share, or something unusual happened with me, or I faced injustice in life. And the other part is, oh, it happened in my life, okay, I craft out something that can be beneficial to me. Which one is better? The second one. You have only 2 choices, either sit back and cry, or smile and face and find out a way. It all depends upon your attitude. Sachin Tendulkar was playing his first international test at Karachi in Pakistan. He was just 16, not even 16 complete. And he was facing the likes of Imran Khan, Nasim Akram and Waqar, all world-class baseballers. And he was regularly getting bitten by the pace and the swing of the ball. So he himself felt irritated and frustrated. He scored about 15 and then he got out. Sachin Tendulkar writes in his autobiography, Playing It My Way. Coming back to the pavilion, I had decided that international cricket is not my cup of tea. I will play cricket at the domestic levels in Mumbai. Enjoy my sport, my liking, my hobby. But this international pace is too much because all these 3 quickies are going at 85, 90 miles per hour deliveries. And those all in and out swinging deliveries. Straight away coming back to the dressing room, Sachin went to the washroom. He writes that he almost cried in front of the mirror. That in my life I have not faced pace of this excellence. So international cricket is not for me. When he came back from the washroom and into the balcony where the Indian players were seated, including the coach Ravi Shastri, and watching the game, Ravi Shastri asked Sachin to sit beside him. He could understand from Sachin's facial expressions and body language that he is a bit feeling low. And he asked Sachin, and Sachin said, "This is too much for me." Ravi Shastri goes, see, from your seniors, from experienced people, when you get guidance, you must keep your minds open. You must keep your hearts open. With a strong confirmation to your own self that I am ready to accept as guidance from my seniors that can help me better myself professionally. Ravi Shastri told Sachin Tendulkar that I saw your batting and you were playing like a schoolboy. You were trying to treat these world-class bowlers as your school bowlers, and you always had in your mind that this is a school match. And that is why you were trying to throw your bat at everything. This is an international match. And as you are a talented batsman, they are world-class international bowlers. You have to respect their skill and talent as well. More importantly, you have to respect their experience. Combined together, they have more than 700 international wickets to their name. So you have to respect their experience as well. So my first advice to you, as Ravi Shastri goes to Sachin, is, Ravi Shastri tells is that in a test match, for the first half an hour, don't look at the scoreboard. Try to set your eyes on the fielding, on the leg and length of the deliveries bowled at you. Try to know the atmosphere, the pace of the match, and after half an hour, start selection of shots. Sachin took that advice well. Rather, changed his attitude towards the game. We are talking of attitude is the master key for success. He changed his attitude that you can't attack every ball in an international match like you could attack every ball in a school match. He changed his attitude and played the next test at Faisalabad, scored a wonderful half century, 59, and that started a great career that would go on for 100 international tons. Just a change of attitude. It was the same Sachin Tendulkar at Karachi and the same Sachin Tendulkar at Faisalabad. Had it not been the change of attitude, we wouldn't have seen Sachin to this glory, or we wouldn't have rather enjoyed a great batsman that we saw with our eyes. What I mean to say, now listen carefully as a principle of what I am talking. With the same academics that you have, Sachin had all the same academics and talent and everything at Karachi and Faisalabad both. So my principal point is, with the same academics that you have, same experience that you have, same talents that you have, same working atmosphere that you have, a person with better and positive attitude will definitely produce much better results than his contemporary, than his colleague, with the same abilities. Because a positive attitude and optimistic attitude has the power to lift up your spirits. It has the power to generate more energy. It has the power to open up your latent talents, your dormant abilities, and you are a different person. So what matters most is your attitude. So William James, a renowned psychologist of America, he writes that the greatest discovery of the 20th century, he wrote this in the last century, so we can say that the greatest discovery of the 20th or the 21st century is that. And he writes, I'm quoting him word to word and letter to letter. He writes that the greatest discovery of the 20th century is that a person can change his life. He can change his future by changing his attitude towards life. With all the talents, experiences and norms and platforms and back support systems you have, but if you don't possess the right kind of attitude, you will not generate, you will not produce, and you will not live a satisfactory and happy life for yourself. And with less of this, still with a perfect kind of attitude, you will be able to generate, produce, and have a satisfactory life. Now this was a big question in the 1990s. Until the 1990s, everybody believed that people with backgrounds and support systems can work, generate, and produce results. But in the 1990s, the scenario started changing, especially in the Silicon Valley. We are proud sometimes that we have produced a lot of IT engineers and they are working well in the Silicon Valley and have today $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 USD as salaries. But who is paying them actually? The smart white American managers who are not sometimes even BCom. Because they possess that managerial skills. They possess that being a master skill. Being a master skill. So they could hire more intelligent talent than themselves. To hire more intelligent talent than your own self requires a different level of professionalism, requires attitudes. So the scenario started changing in the 1990s that we felt in the business circles, in the professional circles, that only people with backgrounds can produce. And people with having family businesses or platforms or good academics, they can earn money and make big businesses. But we found here that sometimes people with lesser resources also they could generate big money. So the scenario started changing. So the attitude shifted from IQ to EQ, from intelligent quotient to emotional quotient. Intelligent quotient क्या होता है? What does it mean? That you think rationally, you speak effectively, you present yourself more convincingly. That is, being rational is IQ. But the focus shifted to EQ, emotional quotient, that people who have empathy for others, who can understand people well, who can understand themselves well, can be better leaders. So people with EQ started leading organizations. It started with the Silicon Valley Revolution. Then EQ started hiring IQ. EQ started hiring IQ and paying IQ. After the turn of the millennium, again a shift was seen, a total paradigm shift. And it was like people with SQ, spiritual quotient, an attitude of spirituality in life. They had people with IQ and EQ. I'm not talking from the religious point of view. When I talk of spiritual intelligence or spiritual quotient, when you are professionals, it is reminded to me at this moment when I'm talking that I suggest a good book for you that makes extraordinary leaders. It's not just another book on leadership, but how spiritual intellect, how spiritual quotient helps you bettering your own self. The title of the book is Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence, written by Dr. Ian Marshall and Dana Zohar. They have co-authored the book, the gentleman and the lady, both the authors, in which they have listed out 8 different aspects, 8 different value systems that make you a spiritually intelligent person, and thus you possess the highest level of attitude towards life and work. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but the 8 values that they have written is: first, flexibility to change at the right time. Second is extremely self-aware. Third, an ability to face and use the suffering. कितने अच्छे शब्द लिखे हैं? In concise, they have told everything. The ability to face and use the suffering. This is an attitude of life. It comes with spirituality. The top person in the country today possesses this ability, that he can face and use the suffering. Anything thrown at him, he can turn it into a huge vote bank. Isn't it? With Kalavati. And the capacity to hear and face so much criticism every day and still generate work at the end of the day is not an ordinary ability. It is beyond the ken of human intelligence. It comes with spiritual attitude of life. The top person in the country today, the amount of criticism that he faces every day, the amount of burnings that he faces every day, a person of an ordinary caliber gets bogged down, goes into depression and stress. Still is that fresh in the morning and by evening is producing a result. That requires a different level of attitude. That comes by this. The ability to face and use the suffering. So I started my talk with this, that any situation you can use for your advantage. Any situation you can use for your advantage. If you don't remember anything from my talk today, I would request that you pick up this only one line for yourself as a takeaway. Anything happening with me, I can find an advantage for myself in it. Is it a good one or not?
Yes, absolutely.
Is it one that could be adopted or not?
Yes.
Is it something that you can make it a perfect attitude behavior for yourself? Yes or no? Fourth, spiritual intelligence in this list of 8 is an ability to be inspired by vision. Isn't that it? You see something and you can say, how can I do this for my organization, for my company? You see something and you feel that, can I introduce this in my family? You are getting inspired by vision. It requires a spiritual attitude. The fifth is an ability to see connection between diverse things. Sixth is an ability to cause as little harm as possible. These are all spiritual attitudes. Seventh and eighth I like the most. And it is a must for all you professionals. Seventh and eighth of this list of spiritual attitudes. The seventh is an ability to ask and probe fundamental questions. Any theory that you learn from your big books, Padmakant ji bade books ke saath baithe hain abhi. Anything that you learn from it, or the professor teaching you or taking your classes, your mind should raise questions. Your mind should prop up logics against it. Am I right? Unless you get convinced, you don't accept it. Yes or no?
Absolutely.
It is a spiritual attitude for bettering yourself in all walks of life, not just your profession. So that is the seventh attitude, an ability to face and use the suffering of life. An ability to ask and probe fundamental questions. And the eighth attitude is an ability to work against a convention. एक मान्यता और ढांचा के विरुद्ध जाके भी काम करके दिखाना, an ability to work against the convention, that is swimming against the flow. It requires an attitude. So these are some of the simple worded but highly qualified attitudes of life that we need to learn to become a better version of our own self. How many of you feel that we are students lifetime, I can always be a better version of myself? All of us. Keeping this attitude that I can always be, till the last breath of my life, a better version of my own self, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, whatever, is an attitude that we need to keep towards life. You will keep going. I come from the BAPS Swami and Sanskar Guru Pramukh Swami Maharaj. He was just 5th standard pass. He could not speak a single sentence in English. Forget English or Hindi. But he created this BAPS organization. As I said, we are one of the top 10 NGOs of the world. He single-handedly, now listen to certain statistics because you are numbers people. You are stat people. You play with numbers. Eh? Basically you work, but sometimes if you go unethical, you play. I told something very deep in this one sentence. Normally you work with the numbers, but if you go unethical, you play with the numbers. Normally you do black and white in the books, but sometimes unethical, you paint the books. In a span of 45 years, and that to his age of 51 to 95, he single-handedly created 1,300 institutions of social service. 1,300 hospitals, hostels, schools, colleges, community centers, sanskar centers, mandis and akshardham. Pramukh Swami Maharaj single-handedly created in a span of 45 years. आपको एक नई ऑफिस चालू करनी है एक नए शहर में तो क्या होता है 2 साल 5 साल तक विचार चलता है
जिंदगी चली जाए
कभी कभी जिंदगी चली जाती है एक नया टेबल एक नई कैबिन चालू करनी है ना ऑफिस में तो भी पता चलता है कि कैसे शुरू होता है in a span of 45 years 1,300 institutes gifted to the society and all 1,300 working beautifully even today I'm talking to you for the welfare of the society at large. That means every 15th day of his life, Pramukh Swami Maharaj gifted either a hospital, a hostel, a school, a college, a mandir, a community center, a sanskar kendra, or an akshardham to the society. Every 15th day of his life. Now check for yourself when the tape of your wash basin is leaking at your home and how many days a plumber takes to fix it. Imagine getting the land, clearing it legally from the local government bodies. BAPS trustees decide what to do with it. I am telling you all this to finally tell you what type of attitudes Pramukh Swami Maharaj possessed that he could grow this organization phenomenally. I want you to apply that to your organizations. But before I talk of his attitudes, let me talk of his statistics.